Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video we will be looking at AQA AS Psychology Specimen 1 Paper 2 Exemplar Answers for Research Methods, which you need to know for AQA Alevel Psychology. I hope you enjoy this video and find it helpful. Let's get started. Please note that these answers have been produced with knowledge of the mark scheme but have not been approved by the mark scheme themselves. There are 3 assessment objectives, AOs, in psychology. In this video they are color-coded. AO1 Knowledge, purple. AO2 Application, blue. AO3 Evaluation, red and green. In AS there are 12 mark questions, instead of 16 mark questions. For the purpose of this video and to avoid confusion for Alevel, the 12 mark questions have been turned into 16 mark questions. Read the item and then answer the questions that follow. A psychologist wanted to see if creativity is affected by the presence of other people. To test this, he arranged for 30 people to participate in a study that involved generating ideas for raising funds for a local youth club. Participants were randomly allocated to one of 2 conditions. Condition A. There were 15 participants in this condition. Each participant was placed separately in a room and was given 40 minutes to think of as many ideas as possible for raising funds for a local youth club. The participant was told to write down his or her ideas, and these were collected in by the psychologist at the end of the 40 minutes. Condition B. There were 15 participants in this condition. The participants were randomly allocated to 5 groups of equal size. Each group was given 40 minutes to think of as many ideas as possible for raising funds for a local youth club. Each group was told to write down their ideas, and these were collected by the psychologist at the end of the 40 minutes. The psychologist counted the number of ideas generated by the participants in both conditions and calculated the total number of ideas for each condition. Table 2. Total number of ideas generated in Condition A, when working alone, and in Condition B, when working in a group. Question 1. Identify the experimental design used in this study and outline one advantage of this experimental design. 3 marks. The experimental design used in this study is independent groups. A strength of independent groups design is that the design reduces order effects. Participants are assigned to different conditions or treatments, meaning that each participant is only exposed to one condition. This prevents any potential influence of the order in which conditions are presented. Researchers can ensure that each condition is assessed without the confounding influence of previous conditions, leading to more valid and reliable results. Question 2. Describe one other experimental design that researchers use in psychology. 2 marks. One other experimental design that researchers use in psychology is matched pairs, times where a pair of participants are matched on a particular key variable or characteristic that is relevant to the experiment and could affect the dependent variable potentially ascertained through the use of a pretest, e.g., completing a questionnaire to determine relevant information, and then participants from each matched pair take part in different conditions of the 4. Participants with the 2 highest scores are paired, then the next 2 highest score are paired, and so on until all participants are paired. One participant from each pair would then be randomly allocated to a different condition of the experiment, usually either the experimental group or control group. Question 3. Apart from using random allocation, suggest one way in which the psychologist might have improved this study by controlling for the effects of extraneous variables. Justify your answer. 2 marks. One way in which the psychologist might have improved this study by controlling for the effects of extraneous variables is by testing all participants in the same room. This will ensure that environmental and situational factors and variables do not influence the results and outcomes of the study. Question 4. Write a suitable hypothesis for this study. 3 marks. There will be a significant difference in the number of ideas generated when participants work alone compared to when participants work in groups. Question 5. From the information given in the description, calculate the number of participants in each group in condition B, 1 mark. 3 in each group. Read the item and then answer the questions that follow. The psychologist noticed that the number of ideas generated by each of the individual participants in condition A varied enormously, whereas there was little variation in performance between the 5 groups in condition B. He decided to calculate a measure of dispersion for each condition. Question 6. Name a measure of dispersion the psychologist could use. 1 mark. Standard deviation. Question 7. The psychologist uses the measure of dispersion you have named in your answer to question 6. State how the result for each condition would differ. 1 mark. The standard deviation would be greater in condition A than in condition B. Question 8. Explain how the psychologist could have used random allocation to assign the 15 participants in condition B into the 5 groups. 3 marks. All the participants should be allocated a number from 1 to 15. The 15 numbers should be put in a hat. The first 3 numbers drawn should be assigned to a group and repeat process for other 4 groups. Read the item and then answer the questions that follow. This is a repeat of information given on question 1. Table 2. Total number of ideas generated in condition A, when working alone, and in condition B, when working in a group. Question 9. Using the information given in Table 2, explain how the psychologist could further analyze the data using percentages. 2 marks. For each condition, the overall number of ideas generated should be divided by the overall total of 185. The result for each condition should then be multiplied by 100 to give the percentage. Question 10. At the end of the study, the psychologist debriefed each participant. Write a debriefing that the psychologist could read out to the participants in condition A, 6 marks. Dear participant, you have just taken part in a psychological research study investigating whether creativity is affected by the presence of other people. You were in condition A, and there were 15 participants in this condition. Each participant was placed separately in a room and was given 40 minutes to think of as many ideas as possible for raising funds for a local youth club. You were told to write down your ideas, and these were then collected in by the psychologist at the end of the 40 minutes. There was another condition, condition B. This condition completed the same task as you but were placed into 3 groups of 5. You were randomly allocated to either of these conditions before the study began. Although you have participated in this study, you do have the right to withdraw your data without any explanation, and that refusal to participate will not result in any consequences or any loss of benefits that you otherwise were entitled to receive. If you choose to continue to participate in this study, the data that has been collected from you will be kept confidential and your participation will be kept anonymous. You have the right to ask any questions or following the ending of this study. Thank you for participating. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content like this. Bye.